Is mi don molus gigagame hamas lalopakle. Gila kestawla nasimut. Nugwa ang balas gayet nachanam pris. Thank you everybody, and thank you for being here. I want to thank my relatives for opening their doors and allowing us always to come and do the work that we need to do in their territory. And I really lift my hands up to all of you for allowing us to always come and hold space. I'm so grateful to all of you, especially those with deep pockets. It's really important to us that you stand with us, and we feel it. We feel respect. We feel your love and the honor that you bestow on us. A lot has happened. I think on Tuesday, the 20th. What's the 20th? It's Tuesday, the 20th. Marks half a year of Swanson Island occupation. 6 months we've been sitting looking at these fish farms, and we've never really had an investigation like this before. My nieces, and some of the young women that were up here when we came in, I think it was Alex Morton who had 10 minutes on a fish farm in Moosemonk territory. And that was the first time we took a look inside those pens. And you're absolutely right. When you go to our territory, it's beautiful. We do live in God's country, if there's a God. And we looked inside those pens for the first time, and in 10 minutes we saw our hooligans, and we've discovered the missing Kinkum Inlet herring. We've not been able to fish for 30 years, the exact same amount of time that they've been farming fish in our territory, without our permission. Why is this company allowed to move herring around the territory the way we should be able to? So there's lots of shocking things that we've seen in 6 months. We really started to take a look a couple of summers ago. I got on the Martin Sheen. It's a Sea Shepherd vessel, and that's when my aunt decided she was going to pop the lid on a Mort tote. So what these guys do is they collect and stockpile dead fish. It's disgusting. I was on the stern of the Martin Sheen, 88 feet away, trying to get away from that smell. And it was there that we decided that we had to stand in the way. One of the other things that happened was my little boy called me, and he said, "Dad, I go down and in a place we call Solwadi, and there you can just put your cast your rod into the water and catch a fish." And he called and he said, where are the fish? And I hung up the phone and I cried, because I couldn't explain to him where the fish were. Yeah. His name is Keatley. He just wants to fish. That's what his name is. And that's something that I want to talk about tonight. There is an unbroken chain going way, way back to our great ancestors. Knowledge of the water. Our great grandfather Moses Alfred was the first native fisherman to to go to Ottawa. Him and a bunch of other chiefs went to Ottawa and lobbied so that Indians can make money. He came back home and he held the first commercial license, and we were wealthy people. We made a lot of money. And the Alfred family became dependent on a fishery. And so everything that he had learned from his great ancestors was passed down to his son, my grandfather. And then he passed it on to my father. My father in the mid-90s was cut out, and we were kicked out of the fishing industry thanks to the Mifflin buyback program that happened. And I saw just the other day my little niece, who's a warrior in her own right, sent me a little clipping from the newspaper. The date on that newspaper from the North Island Gazette is February 4th, 1998. That's when I talked about the Mifflin Plan to this standing committee of DFOs. That was almost 30 years ago. My son I can't teach my son how to fish the Johnson Strait tides. I never learned that. And they took it away from us. So when people ask me, Ernest, you sound very angry with DFO. Yeah, I am. And I've got a bone to pick with them. I want DFO fired. Newspaper clipping, it says DFO is accountable to no one, and they're still not. We've not done our job. We need to hold them accountable. I say, put the fishing back into the hands of the Indigenous people who were policing the territory for free. We would do that when a boat was illegally fishing within our territories. It wasn't our job, but we did it. We said, pull your traps, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to fish here, this place is closed. You know how many times I've seen in the last 6 months, I've seen DFO officers twice. They're not looking for Piscine Rio virus, so it doesn't exist. Not only that, but we now have the internal documents that points to DFO working with industry directly hiding it and trying to cover up the disease we call Piscine Rio virus, HSMI, sea lice, all of these things. They were deliberately trying to hide it from the public. Well, it's too late. It's out. It's out. We've exposed that. We know that, and there's no more science. The minister, what did he do the other day? He announced yet another review. Well, I have to say, very obviously, it doesn't take I'm not a scientist. I pretend to be, but I'm not a scientist, and it does not take a biologist to see the problem. And it's so obvious that this is where the problem is with these fish farms. So it's really clear. To us, the solution is very simple. Move them out of the water, close them up, move them out of the water, and go make some money somewhere else. Maybe on someone's land who actually wants them. What we have to do, actually, I'm going to ask everybody a question here. Who wants farmed salmon? So this is the thing. This is the thing with me, and we're preaching to the converted. And I get frustrated when I have to come and speak in front of a lot of people because you're all my friends. You understand me. You understand what we're saying. But we're going to have to take it the next step now. We're going to have to start knocking on doors. We're going to have to write those letters. We're going to have to go down to our MLA's office and say, we're not leaving until we get a decision. We're going to have those discussions in those grocery stores and at sushi restaurants. We have to start pushing back. The people, the beautiful people that walked in to that beautiful song we're going to do our work. We're going to do our part, but I'm begging you, please help. We need your help. I think we can do it. I'm pretty confident, and I'm starting to get a little bit scared. They are threatening to bring Atlantic salmon back to Swanson Island, and we could be talking next week, a couple of days. And so what I've told 3 MLAs now, including Mr. Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, is that what we're going to see here is a very escalated situation very soon, unless they make a decision. The province has the ability to cancel these permits. And they can do it, and they can do it within they can give these companies 60 days notice. Because you know what? It's not in the public's best interest anymore. We can do it, but we actually need everybody to rally around this. We need everybody to make some noise now. Interesting, I went up to Burnaby Mountain this morning. Yes. One of our frontline defenders was being charged, and the charges have been dismissed. And yes, I was so excited to stand there because they rolled out the red carpet for me. I felt so special that they had opened their doors the way they did. And you know why? Because Burnaby Mountain has not seen a chief yet. So that's a strong, some strong language for my own people. Because if we're not going to look after our kids, who's going to look after our kids? So I'm really excited to see some of our leadership, our hereditary leaderships here, to stand with us. Because it's now that we need to do this. Thank you. There are a few tribes within our area. Some of my relatives, for crying out loud, have signed these agreements. And so what we have here is a situation where 6 men are sitting around a table deciding on the future of our children. That needs to be talked about. That needs to be addressed. Who gives them the right to sell us out as a people? And I want to talk about that. And we will. And we'll see them in court. But that's the thing. I think that we need to be really clear, because they think that we're scared of them. Just yesterday, and here's some more good news. Just yesterday, charges were dropped against my aunt, Satsapalas, who's been occupying John Horgan's office in Victoria. Charges dropped. So we're going to go and see her. I want to go give her a hug. Because we need to show her some respect and love. And I think this is a way that everybody can be a part of this, is your own involvement and showing up and being here. But everywhere around the province, the more and more I talk to people, I'm learning about frontline camps all over the province, from all the way up into BC, to Burnaby Mountain, Broughton Archipelago. There are frontline defenders all over BC, and there's a way we can help. How can we help? How can we donate? How can we support? And we need to all look at that, because we need to stand together. So, even if Justin Trudeau doesn't want to hear about it, but he's been warned. Apparently my letter to him, my response, was read in the House, and in that letter, it outlines the reason why we got up and walked out on his town hall in Nanaimo. I was shaking. I couldn't believe the outright dismissal he had for our people. The Kinder Morgan pipeline, the fish farms, sightsee, nothing. He was never going to answer us on any of those things, and he would have been nailed. And I would have loved the time on the floor. But he knew, because our relative Jody Wilson came out and greeted us. That's our relative. Jody Wilson is the Justice Minister. And that's our Himaskala Likla's daughter. And so she was told a couple of things. She came over and gave Bill Cramer a hug, and so I took the time to tell her that we're going to get rid of fish farms, but we're going to need their help. I said, get on board or get out of the way. And so the next thing I told her was that it's actually completely illegal what they're doing, and launch an investigation. The next thing I told her was come home. It is time for her to come home, and so I said those things, and so our message was really loud and clear to the Prime Minister, because she was escorted away, whisked away by handlers, or whatever they are, and so I think that she went away and told Mr. Trudeau not to talk to us, because I was very clear and I was very strong, and they were afraid. They were afraid of that because Nangwakawe, thank you for your words, harder to follow actually, because you're absolutely right. It's the people who take their shoes off when they're in someone else's house. It's the people that go and bath in the river. It's the people who strip the cedar bark. That's who's really, those are the scary people. These young women, these mothers, these young people, a lot of whom I'm finding out are two-spirited. That's got to be talked about. So I'm floored by the amount of support by my family here. Puglidi is a member of our family. We go back a long way, and I really want to thank all of you. Please get involved. How can you help? What can you do? Fill out a piece. It doesn't need to be long. Who is your MLA? Because they need to know. We're behind the Muskamabzaudino. We're behind the Namgis and the Mamalakala people. And there's like 6 tribes. And now our relatives to the north and the south are sitting down looking at these agreements because they don't like the way they're treating us. They want them nullified. The writing is on the wall for this company, these companies, and this industry to grow up now. So we just need to keep pushing and keep that pressure on, because I think we're winning. Thank you again to all of you for allowing all of this, and please donate generously. I don't actually know. There's a committee in Alert Bay. I don't actually see any of the money. I just order groceries and they bring it to me. It's really great. This helps. Your money helps us move our people back and forth on the water, and you're feeding us. And I want all of you to know that your money is carefully spent, and every dime is greatly appreciated. So again, thank you so much.